Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Stadion Rijeka here in Croatia for this international friendly. We are just days away from the World Cup in America, Mexico and Canada. And these, of course, are the games which the teams involved in those competitions are getting prepared for that big event. Croatia and Belgium, two of those. Our referee is Rade Obranovic. And these two sides come into the back of this with mixed fortunes. Brazil beat Croatia 3-1 the last time the Croatian team played an international game. Mexico drew 1-1 with Belgium. They have met on 9 occasions, and you literally cannot get anything between them. They've both won 3 and they've drawn 3. And in fact, the last time they did play was in the World Cup in a group game back in the December of 2022. And on that occasion, they drew 0-0. So there is nothing between these two sides at all. So they're out in the middle now, and the national anthems are being played. Charming little ground this, on this sunny early evening in Croatia. So Zlatko Delic goes with a 3-4-2-1. I'm Joe Mills, by the way. Thank you for joining us. In goal is Dominik Livakovic. A back three of Josip Šatulo, Luka Vušković and Josko Gvardiol. The midfield four is Josip Stanisic, the captain, still going at 40, Luka Modric, Mateo Kovacic and Ivan Perisic. The two in front of them, Petar Sucic and Martin Baturina, and Petar Musa will lead the line. On the bench for Croatia, the two keepers, Ivor Pandur and Dominik Katarski. Then we've got Marin Pongrancic, Duje Kaleta-Kar, Nikola Moro, Andrej Kramaric, Nikola Vlasic, Mario Pasalic, Christian Jakic, Toni Fruk, Igor Matanovic, Luka Sucic and Marko Pasalic. So those are the Croatian side. Rudi Garcia, we believe, goes with the same similar formation, 3-4-2-1, with Thibaut Courtois in goal, a back three of Nathan Ngoy, Amadou Onana and Arthur Tiate. The midfield four, Alexis Salamakers, the captain Yuri Tielemans, Nicholas Raskin and Maxim de Kuyper. Kevin De Bruyne and Jeremy Doku are behind Charles de Ketelaere, the lone striker. On the bench for the Belgian side, the two keepers Sonny Lomans and Mike Penders, then Brandon Michele, Axel Witsel, Romelu Lukaku, Dode Lukebakio, Thomas Meunier, Conny de Winter, Joaquin Seyss, Diego Morea, Hans Vanaken, Timothy Castagna and Matias Fernandez Pardo. So, those are the two sides. The Croatian national anthem being played at the moment. The Belgians have had theirs. Both teams in their traditional strips. Croatia, of course, in that famous red and white chessboard shirt. Belgium in the black shorts trimmed with yellow, the black socks and the red shirts trimmed with yellow and red to match the colours of their flag. And it is a charming little ground, this. Not a very big one, used by a local club in the Croatian league, but it is packed to the rafters, and it's just nice that they've brought this to a small little charming ground like this here in Rijeka. And yeah, both these sides, of course, will be heading out to the United States. Some teams have already gone. England, of course, flew out yesterday. So it's an opportunity to get some minutes in the legs. Of course, they wouldn't have had much of a break, any of these players, if they've had a break at all. In fact, now they've taken their tracksuit tops off, Croatia are all in blue. So they've thrown me a bit of a curveball there, all in royal blue, but the shirt does have a chessboard effect. So Yuri Tielemans and Luka Modric meet the referee in the middle for the coin toss. And all of that is now dealt with, and the pennant swapped. Our referee, as I said, is Rade Obranovic. So we're all set for a game here. It should be interesting. As I said, there's really nothing between them at all. And looking at the lineup for the Belgians, I think they might have made a slight tweak there. Doku looks as if he might be playing up front with Charles de Ketelaere. We'll see. It's all a movable feast, isn't it? But it's a bright, sunny, early evening here in Rijeka. Sun bathing about 3/4 of the pitch. And we're ready. There's some real big names on show here this evening. And the crowd in really good voice as we get ready for this international friendly, which is, all intents and purposes, a World Cup warm-up game. Croatia will be playing from right to left in this first half. They will have kick-off. Belgium from left to right. And we're almost ready. And we are now underway. The ball goes back to Arthur Tiate of Eintracht Frankfurt. And the ball launched downfield by... Sorry, I sheet's the wrong way around. That was Gvardiol, I do beg your pardon, of Manchester City. Ball breaks to the halfway line. Good start, Joe. There's Modric now on halfway. Now Gvardiol. It comes back to Ivan Perisic. Still going, another one in very much the back end of his career. The evergreen man playing his football in Holland for PSV these days. The ball comes out to Chatulo, who plays for Ajax. Now Kovacic. Recently won the FA Cup with Manchester City, but comes all the way back to Livakovic of Dinamo Zagreb, and his kick out wide, looking for Josko Gvardiol. Now here's Vuskovic, the young centre-half from SV Hamburger. Ball played up now through the top. Here's Perisic, turns his man, comes down this left-hand side, trying to get away here from Salamakers, and still manages to do it. Gets round him, and then a big sliding tackle comes in from... I'm just trying to see who that is, actually, that's come roaring across there for Belgium. It looks like Ngoy. But there's life in the old dog yet there for Ivan Perisic. Took on two men down that flank and got the better of them. 90 seconds gone. And it will be a goal kick, actually. It did, I think, oh, actually the flag had gone up for an offside, so the goal kick for Belgium was in actuality a free kick. It goes down the field now. Belgium have it over on that far side. Played back to Tiate of Eintracht Frankfurt. And now back at the feet of Thibaut Courtois, all in bright yellow, the Real Madrid stopper. And now Belgium have it once more with... Now here's Amadou Onana of Aston Villa, not normally in the defensive line, but being used in that back three today. And Ngoy back to Onana, and this big pressing here, and that puts Courtois under big pressure. He side foots it downfield. Not the best touch there by Gvardiol, but he manages to keep it in, sends it downfield, and Ngoy brings it down. He tries to clear it, and it breaks for Gvardiol briefly before falling to the feet of Belgium. And now they can bring it forward with De Ketelaere, who's won his team a throw-in on this near side as it was intercepted by Ivan Perisic. So a very bright start to this game. Obviously, both sides building up minutes, getting... I'm sure they don't need the fitness. They've all just come off a long season. But it's getting them to gel, of course. They've all been playing league football. Not much international football throughout the build-up to this. There will have been the World Cup qualifiers, of course, and European qualifiers and so on. But it will have been a while since they were all together. So these games, absolutely crucial to get that understanding and get the gelling of the squads. Now they've been finalised for that World Cup. Here is Onana. Now here's Tielemans, the captain, halfway inside his own half. Comes out to Jeremy Doku. Had a fine season with Manchester City. Double cup winner, of course, this season with City. Now Raskin of Glasgow Rangers. Ball comes out to this near side. De Ketelaere comes back to Onana. Belgium keeping the ball well here. Now here's Ngoy. Chips the ball down that right channel. Looking for De Ketelaere, dealt with at the back by Croatia. Ball comes back to the feet of Livakovic. Yeah, and that was a loose touch from the keeper there. And I thought it had gone out for a corner. I don't think he kept it in, but his clearance went straight to a red shirt. And Belgium have the ball back. Halfway inside the Croatia half. Tiate comes out now to this far left-hand side to Kevin De Bruyne. edge of the area. Foul comes in on Tielemans, but the referee says it's not a foul. Now Croatia will look to turn this ball halfway inside their own half. Briefly went back to the edge of their own area, and then the foul does eventually come in there. Foul by Belgium, by Salamakers, just clipping the heels there of Martin Baturina of FC Como. 5 minutes gone. A good start to this game. Good pace about it, good tempo. Both teams knocking it around nicely. As I said, there's absolutely nothing between them in terms of history. Only played 9 times and they've each won 3 and drawn 3. The last time they locked horns was in the World Cup, almost 4 years ago, and that was 0-0 on that occasion. So Belgium have it at the back here, but they're being pressed again. Courtois has to get rid of that quickly, but it goes straight to Gvardiol, who heads it back downfield. And Croatia have the ball again. Now it comes back to Vuskovic. Now Baturina. Back to Gvardiol. Now Mateo Kovacic finds Vuskovic. Now Shutalo. Now to that far right-hand side, Stanisic of Bayern Munich. What a season they've had as well. Ran away with the Bundesliga again. And they won the German Cup. Didn't quite manage to turn that form into winning the Champions League. I must say I had them down as real favourites to win that, but they came unstuck against Paris Saint-Germain, who, as we all know, have won it back-to-back. Belgium now, up through the middle to Catelaire, out to Doku on that far left-hand side. He will now get to run at Sucic. He scrabbles his way past him. Referee plays advantage. The twinkling feet of Doku gets the ball back out here now for Salamakers. Now Doku tries a shot from the edge of the area on that left-hand side, but straight at Dominik Livakovic. Didn't really get enough power on that. The Manchester City man, straight at Livakovic. Regulation save for him. All in spearmint green. Now foul comes in here on Nathan Ngoy. Plays for Lille in Liga. The foul by Baturina. It was a harsh decision. But it will be a free kick to Belgium. 7.5 minutes gone. Yeah, and looking at the replay there, Ngoy went down incredibly easily. So Baturina might have a point there. Anyway, free kick Belgium. It's about 10 yards in from touch. Halfway inside the Croatian half. On this near side, Napoli's Kevin De Bruyne standing over the ball. Still going. The imperious former Manchester City man. Ball whipped in towards that back post and it flies over the top of everyone and out for a goal kick. A couple of Belgian players felt there was a clip off the head of a Croatian there, but the referee says no. So goal kick to Croatia, and it will be Livakovic to take it. None of that nonsense on the 6-yard box, goes straight downfield. Little flick header there by Kovacic. Breaks on the halfway line. Gvardiol's ball is blocked, but it still managed to retain it. Here's Baturina. Now Perisic into a little maestro, Luka Modric. AC Milan these days. 40 years old, still going, still supremely fit. On the ball now, the little man. On the halfway line. Plays a long ball down the field there, not bad. Oh, and Courtois came out and it bounced over his head, which is some feat. He's got a face mask on, Modric. Obviously taking a bang while playing in Serie A for AC Milan. So goal kick Belgium, just over 9 minutes gone here in Rijeka. Croatia 0, Belgium 0. Belgium are going for one of those nonsense goal kicks where they just roll it to the keeper and then he's just launched it downfield. I don't know why he couldn't just do that on his own. Anyway, here's De Ketelaere, and that's a shove in the back there by Perisic. Well, the referee has let that go. That was a clear shove in the back there by Perisic. Now Gvardiol will bring it down this near side for Croatia, but his through ball goes straight to Ngoy. Now here's Tielemans. Picks out Raskin on this near side. He will cut in field. Now Doku. Now here's Ngoy once again. Out to De Bruyne on this near side. Ball comes back in field for Raskin. Now here's Amadou Onana on the edge of the centre circle. Here's Arthur Théâtre. Ball played in field, but that was well intercepted there by Kovacic. Now Croatia flick the ball neatly round the corner. Now then Modric goes herring down the field here. He needs some support. Edge of the area, flicks it out to his right. That's a great ball. Shot comes in, but it was a tight angle and slightly off balance there was Petar Musa, the striker. Plays his football in the MLS for FC Dallas. And that was a good break down the field there, and there's so much space there for Modric to just march down the field. No one laid a glove on the 40-year-old there. Played out a neat ball to that right-hand side, but Musa was a tight angle, and he was slightly off balance. And that was the result of that skewed effort there over the crossbar. Now then, De Kuiper of Brighton and Hove Albion, back to Théâtre. Now Amadou Onana. Quite a lot of Premier League talent on show this afternoon. Here's Ngoy. Back to Onana. Now Théâtre. Out to this far side. Alexis Salamakers. De Kuiper back to Théâtre. Belgium now just keeping the ball inside their own half, just stroking it around, just slowing things down a little bit. Now the long ball from Théâtre down that left-hand flank, looking for the run of Doku. He will get to it first before Stanisic. Now you can see those twinkling feet in those bright pink boots. Picks out Salamakers on the edge of the area. He tries to feed it in, goes through a forest of legs. It breaks to the edge of the area, but that's good work. And Croatia have won themselves a free kick there. The foul by Ngoy on Gvardiol on the edge of the area. As Gvardiol was... Oh, actually, it was Batarina, I beg your pardon, was shielding the ball. He didn't fall over, just hands all over him. And the referee blew the whistle. Gvardiol back to Livakovic. Traps the ball with his foot near the penalty spot. Rolls it across to Chatulot. That's a dangerous ball inside your own box. Kovacic to do well there to tidy that up. Stanisic now down the line. Yeah, that was a dangerous little bit. I know teams like to play things out from the back, but I say it often. You know, you are pressure when you do that. Some teams are pretty good at it, but it's always a risk. Now then, long ball downfield by Livakovic. Little flick on header there. Courtois, but they're still not out. Oh, God. Oh, blimey, ball back to Courtois. Now that was dangerous because Vark 6-yard box only just missed him. Now De Bruyne. Can he bring it up through the middle? And then a foul does come in on who's that on? Petar Sucic by Arthur Théâtre. So what a circle, yeah, just a late challenge there. Perisic has it now on this near side. Free kick was taken. Manchester City's Josko Gvardiol. Now Modric tries to drill a ball through them to the left of Thibaut Courtois' goal. Just over 14 minutes gone. Aimless, good tempo to it. Both teams certainly look to be having a dig. We get the short goal kick again. Anana on the edge of the 6-yard box just taps it across to Courtois. Again, I don't know why they're doing that, because Croatia are not interested in the press. I know they do those silly goal kicks to try and drag players forward. Courtois has the ball back at his feet now. Clears it long downfield again, looking for Raskin, who's on that right-hand side, but that's tidied up by Vušković. Back to Livakovic, and now Josip Šutalo. Here's Vušković once more. Here's Gvardiol now. Swaps passes with Mateo Kovacic. Now patient play here from Croatia, deep inside their own half. Kovacic now. Here's Gvardiol, his club teammate. Just shy of halfway. He tries a long left-footed ball right through the middle. Anana wins the header. But I think either that was a foul or the offside flag has gone up. He was being backed into there, was the Villa man. Just have another look at this. Yeah, it was offside against Musa. Now De Bruyne down this right-hand side, plays a ball through the right channel. Oh, not quite the right weight there for De Ketelaere. It was a beautiful pass, but Livakovic was off his line very quickly and got to it before Charles De Ketelaere of Atalanta. Here's Gvardiol once more. That ball is intercepted from him on halfway. Now Belgium have it with De Ketelaere. Space for De Bruyne now on this right-hand side. He has it on the edge of the box. Overlapping run here. Raskin squares it across. It breaks here for Ngoy. Oh, he nudged it back to the edge of the area, but only found Baturina. And the long ball down that right-hand side is tidied up by Tiate. And that's the first really good chance there for Belgium. Bit of space on that right-hand side for Kevin De Bruyne. Not want to be giving space to. Here's Doku. De Bruyne now has come into centre field. He's just passing it around neatly here, Belgium. One of those sides where, of course, not too long ago, maybe a World Cup ago, you know, they, for a country of their size, had that, what we call that golden generation of players. They had such an incredible squad, but they failed to live up to expectations, both in the World Cups and the Euros. Of course, they still have a strong squad, but many felt that maybe 4 years ago, coming into that, you know, when players like Lukaku and De Bruyne were completely in their prime and so on, that they were real favourites to lift a World Cup or a European Championship, but it never really materialised. They've really disappointed in those tournaments. But they still have a reasonably good squad. That was under, of course, Roberto Martinez. Rudy Garcia, the coach these days. But many feel that maybe that Belgium's chance has perhaps passed them by. Perisic wins the ball here, squares it across the area, blocked by Anana, comes back out to Kovacic, edge of the area, nice 1-2, comes out to the right-hand side. Brilliant football from Croatia, but then a foul inside the box on Belgium there, and it will be a free kick. But, well, we talk about 1-2s. We had a 1-2 and a 3-4 inside the box there, but Belgium had it pinched off him by Perisic. And a lovely 1-2 between Kovacic there and Stanisic, and then the return ball, cut-back ball from Stanisic, and then Kovacic with the foul on Nicolas Raskin inside the penalty area. And the free kick taken quickly by Thibaut Courtois. So, yeah, Belgium, like I say, that time may have come and gone now. But you never know. It's all about recycle, isn't it? Where the next players are coming from. But generational talents like De Bruyne and Lukaku and so on, coming towards the end of their careers now. Of course, Croatia, they're all in a transition phase as well themselves, really. They've had a couple of very ageing squads at the last two tournaments. Of course, they've still got the likes of Modric and Perisic in there, but they are, of course, again, at the very much back end of their career. Amazing that they're still going at national level. That's a foul there by Belgium, by Alexis Salamakers. Martin Baturina. But they themselves are regenerating talent. Well, the thing is with of Croatia, of course, that they're just very, very good at tournament football, and more often than not go fairly deep in tournaments. So write them off at your peril. You know, they were World Cup finalists recently, so, but that was always the worry, you know, when they did, but it was with an ageing squad. Anyway, Modric whips the ball into the area, it's headed away. The offside flag has gone up over on the far side, so it will be a free kick to Belgium. But yeah, these are definitely two sides, not much between them, ranked 11th and 9th in the world on the FIFA rankings, respectively. So they are certainly no mugs, but are in a sort of a transition phase. But we shall see. Here's Doku. They still have such a great squad, Belgium, but perhaps not as strong as it used to be. Time will tell. Here is Tielemans. Comes out to Salamakers on that far left-hand side. Now Tielemans to Onana, his Aston Villa teammate. Now Salamakers again, over on that far left-hand side. Ball fed through to De Bruyne, who's peeled out over onto that side. But Belgium dispossessed on the edge of the Croatia box, but Kovacic gets himself into trouble there, loses the ball, then De Bruyne loses the ball. It's all a bit frantic, and ball comes back to Josko Gvardiol. Here's Modric, edge of the centre circle. And now Baturina. Here's Modric once again, on halfway. This is Chatulot. Back to Vuskovic. Now then, Gvardiol on this near side to Ivan Perisic. Salamakers making a nuisance of himself over there. Croatia still have the ball just on the edge of the centre circle. Kovacic, now Josip Chatulot, now Stanisic, and he rolls it all the way back to Dominik Livakovic. Vuskovic once again. Croatia being pressed into their own penalty area here. Here's Stanisic over on that far side, plays it back into the penalty area. Belgium pressing here. Got to get rid of the ball here, Croatia. Here's Gvardiol, and well, he's won his team a throw in there. It's perhaps slightly fortunate. And of course, at the last World Cup, Croatia finished third. You know, beating the wild card team of Morocco that stunned everybody by getting to the semi-finals. And now we get a water break. So they do have great pedigree in tournament football. And of course, they defeated Brazil in the quarter-finals at the last World Cup. On penalties, of course. But as for Belgium, well, they, of course, were very disappointing in the last World Cup as they take the water break here. course, they were in the same group as Croatia at that last World Cup. And that's the last time they actually met. They drew 0-0. But Belgium didn't make it out of their group. So, again, it was a massive, massive disappointment. Once again, failing to deliver on the promise. So Croatia, despite having that ageing squad at that time, you know, third spot again. Having got to the final the time before, so they know how to play tournament football. And they will be a threat again. And of course, Belgium, they'll be looking to do much better this time around than they didn't get out of the group, which is really not good enough for a squad like the Belgians. Right on the shore here, you can see the sea behind one end of the goal. There's a huge electronic scoreboard behind the Croatian goal. So the referee just checking his watch so we can get back underway. Yes, we're right on the coast here in Rijeka. Ball now back at the feet of Livakovic. Long clearance downfield. Flick on header there, but Musa was holding his head. A Belgian player has gone down. I think we've had a head clash there, actually. Musa definitely felt that, but it's the Belgian player that's come worst off there, and that's Amadou Onana. Definite head clash. So Onana down receiving treatment. Musa seems okay. And very pretty it is too. It's an inlet of the North Adriatic Sea, and it's right behind our goal, which the Croatian team are defending right now. Very picturesque little ground this, to say the least. So, looks like treatment has been administered. 27.5 minutes gone. Still 0-0. And the ball dropped at the feet of Josko Gvardiol. We can get back underway. Here's Mateo Kovacic now for Croatia. Now Shatulo, halfway inside the Belgium half. Tries to thread that ball through to the edge of the area, then it's looped over the top. Down on the edge of the box. I'm not sure if there is dispensation at this stage, whether countries can add to their squad if they do get players injured in these warm-up games. Ball goes out on this near side off De Bruyne, so it will be a throw-in for Croatia, which is taken quickly. Here's Luka Vušković. Now Stanisic chips the ball down that right flank, but Onana comes across quickly. Out jumps the diminutive Modric and heads it out for a throw-in to Croatia over on that far side. Taken quickly back to the feet of Stanisic. Now here's Mateo Kovacic on halfway. Vušković. Now Perisic on this near side. Had a good game in this first half, the PSV man. again, beautiful cross from the left foot there. And Musa was coming in at the back post, but I think Teate got there first. And it will be a corner for Croatia. He's had some joy down this near side as Ivan Perisic. And again, another stunning cross towards the back post, and Teate got there just in the nick of time. So corner for Croatia. 1 minute remaining of the added 4. And it will be Perisic over on that far side with this in-swinging corner. In it comes, headed up in the air by Onana and flicked out by Teate. Can Doku keep hold of the ball? No, he can't. Croatia win it back and then lose it. Now then, Salamakers can break here through the middle. Now it comes out to De Bruyne, and then he puts the ball. That's a telling touch there, but Salamakers gets to it first, has it on the dead ball line, chips it across the face of goal, headed away. Tielemans wins it back on the edge of the area, but then Croatia can clear. That was a chance for Belgium on the counter there, but they've won the ball back. Here's Onana, edge of the area on this near side. But they should have done better there, Belgium. They were 3-on-1. And Stanisic just got a touch to it as De Bruyne fed it out to the left-hand side. Ball back into the area, headed away by Gvardiol. And now that is the half-time whistle of what has been a thoroughly absorbing contest. It's been end-to-end stuff here in Rijeka. But the telling contribution from the Belgian skipper, Yuri Tielemans. There was a little hint of fortune about it when the cross came in. Took a few little deflections, but he turned it home on 38 minutes. Half-time here in Rijeka. It is Croatia 0, Belgium 1. We'll be back in 15 minutes with full second-half commentary. See you then.
Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.